Hello, welcome to my channel, Juju Time. My name is Quavier, and today's video is basically us getting messages and whatever understanding that Spirit wants us to have for this full moon in Sagittarius that we are having in the sidereal astrology. So I want you to get comfortable, get relaxed, and we're just going to get started and just listen to what Spirit has to say. Alrighty, so let's see what Spirit has to say to us as I begin shuffling these cards. As we are getting our messages from Spirit, I would like you to connect to your higher selves. I want you to connect to your guides, so that way you can determine what messages are for you, okay? So, what does Spirit... Oh, okay, we have one card to come out. And the first card to come out was the Prince of Fire in reverse. And this is the Jack of Clubs. And it says, a man who uses force is afraid of reason. That is interesting. I'm feeling called to pull out another card here, but immediately what I get from Spirit is, what are you running away from? What logic, what reality are you not wanting to confront or even know about? I'm getting this sense and this feeling as though you are going about your journey of whatever you're going through currently in your life right now, and instead of I don't want to say facing the facts, because that sounds so harsh, but that's what I'm getting a sense of. But it's like this sense of you're not ready to confront or know about the facts just yet. You know, the other card to come out was, wow, in the Six of Spades in reverse. And it's the card of refuse. And it says, even though you disagree, do not refuse to listen. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, definitely this does take me back. And what Spirit is basically, as I was saying before, of what Spirit is definitely wanting us to understand, learn, gain wisdom from, is what we are currently going through in our lives right now in terms of our avoidance, our refusal to hear or listen to what is being said to you, right? Actually, this is very interesting because earlier today I was having this Spirit gave me this thought of, are you paying attention to the messages that we are giving you? Are you utilizing them? Are you taking action on them? So definitely there is a sense that during this full moon, when we are making our intentions, when we are doing our manifestations or whatever it is that we're doing, you know, a lot of the question is, have you even utilized what we've said in the past, right? Wow. And then I'm also getting this feeling in the sense of when we are, as I was saying before about us listening to, us being afraid to listen to reason, right? And I don't think, I'm not getting the sense that it's afraid of listening to reason, but it's this feeling of, there's this shattering moment, right? There's this shattering moment that when we are faced with the truth, right? How do we respond to it? Are we ready to respond in a way that are we ready to respond in a way that lets our spirit know and lets our body and our nervous system know that we are ready, we are prepared? Or are we going back into cycles that spirit wants us to face? Like, hey, do you see this cycle coming up again? Like, so is this definitely feeling as though us not using our force to avoid, okay? Not using our force to avoid. Spirit doesn't want us to be in this sense of like avoidance. And wow, that flew out. Okay, so the card that came out here was the number 41, imagination. And it says, imagination now sets me free. Divine ones, I send my thanks to thee. So there's many of us that are wanting to dream, that are wanting big things. I mean, we all have a sense of importance when it comes to things that we are wanting to attract into our lives, whether it's something small or big, it doesn't matter. It all takes that same kind of creative, energetic force to magnetize it all towards us, right? But here's the thing, what Spirit is definitely wanting me to let you know is that you knowing the reasoning, you knowing the logic, you taking the time to listen, this will be all in the benefit of utilizing your imagination, utilizing of like really having the pieces of the puzzle, of at least getting a bit more pieces of the puzzle to what it is that you need to be doing, or what advice that Spirit needs you to just take a second and stop and just listen to, right? There's this feeling of freedom, right? But if we're in a state of refusal, right? Nowadays, you know, there's a lot of things that trigger us, right? Or I don't want to, yeah. There's a lot of things that, in a sense, it triggers us, and some of us, of course, you know, there's, you know, some of us can pinpoint the specific reasoning why this triggers you, right? Because of past experiences, etc., etc. And I'm sure anyone that's watching this video, you are already on the process of recovery, of healing, of empowerment, of calling back your power, and all of that. But then there's sometimes we get triggered and we're like, why did that bother me? Why am I completely just in this state of refusal? Why am I in this complete state of disagreement when I haven't even taken the time to listen, right? And there's this sense that for some of us with Spirit, right, they have given us messages. I'm feeling called another card from this deck. They've given us messages in regarding our, you know, something that we've been desiring or wanting to attract into our lives. And in a way, we're needing to backtrack just a little bit. We're needing to backtrack just a little bit so that we can actually listen to what it is that Spirit has to say, right? Whether it's something that you channeled from Spirit yourself, or it's something that you heard and it's been on your mind for a while. I'm getting like this persistent, like feeling of like persistent thoughts, you know, the thoughts that sort of like when you're in the shower, they just come at you and you're like, oh, you know, or like you're about to go to sleep and, you know, and it's just there in the back of your mind, you know, just itching away, you know, just scratching at the corners of your mind. And it's, in a way, what about it, right? What are we What are we afraid to confront when we actually let if we let our minds go to where it needs to go to? If we stop blocking or forcing our minds to not think about it, or if we actually let our emotions and our intuitive feelings just be for a second, right? This could be, I'm definitely getting a sense as well that this is sort of like a disagreement in what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah, interesting. Oh, going crazy. Let's get clarity. We want clarity. Okay. Yeah, the card that came out here is the number 19, inspiration. And you know what I'm loving about these two images that sort of came, there's something ancient, old, written down that like you just can't get away from. I don't know what that was. I don't know why that came to me, but that's just how I feel. And it's like, just revisit, you know? But what it says, by the way, what it says is Isis, goddess of magic, I ask thee to bring your inspiration to me. I love the fact that Isis came up in this. If you feel called to, definitely look into whatever truth that Isis brings to you, right? Whatever truth that Isis brings to you, and do some research into that if you feel called to it, whatever messages that may come from that. But there's inspiration in what it is that we are refusing to confront, what it is that we've been constantly saying no to, or even it's not perhaps that you're saying no to it, but it's like not doing nothing is doing something, you know? And in a way, it's like, even though you may not have physically like, or you know, vocally like disagreed with something, it's like you still did disagree to it because of the lack of action. Oh wow, these two cards flipped over, and it's the Judgment card and the High Priestess card. That is lovely. First of all, let me just mention that when we're looking at like our numerology, right? Of course, we all know that the High Priestess is number 2. And if you don't know, now you do. So number 2. And the Judgment card is also a 2 card, right? It's a 2-0 card, but there is an energy of awakening. There's an energy of when we are confronting, like in this sense, it's like facing judgment, right? But in this sense of judgment, it's facing yourself in a way. So that's a big message that is coming through for, you know, for some people, that of facing yourself. You know, are we taking the time to utilize, oh, there we go. Are we taking the time to utilize the messages that Spirit has given us, Spirit has just revealed to us, or have even taken that time out to even connect to Spirit in that way? I definitely getting the feeling as though many people have been given like messages or dreams constantly over and over and over again, and Spirit now wants you to utilize it. Awaken yourself. We're always wanting to you know, a lot of people, you know, for this, you know, for the sake of themselves and their own power and journey, they're wanting to awaken their magic. They're wanting to awaken their third eye. They're wanting to awaken. But a part of that awakening is looking at self, right? Looking at self and looking at what it is that, whatever you're going through right now, whatever that is coming up for you in your life right now, whether it's spirit sending you messages or the card that came out, meditate and contemplate. Wow, meditate and contemplate. I love that this card came out, because during this full moon, since today is the full moon, then it's very much body centered. It's definitely this gives me it's the sense of it's our outer environment, our outer world, matching our inner beliefs, right? And that comes from meditate and contemplating. And it has a lot to do with our creativity. It has a lot to do of how do we like utilize our mental processes to then complement our creative journeys. And we're all on some kind of creative journey, whether it's some kind of transformation. Creativeness is not a one person, like, oh, only one person can do this. You are creative in many aspects of your life without you even like just noticing it, right? Unless you take the time to meditate and contemplate on it. Okay, so definitely for this new moon, for this full moon, my apologies. Oh, by the way, yes, new moon in Pisces, and is meditate and contemplate. But for this full moon, right, definitely take a look at what is it that you are refusing to hear? What is it that you are refusing to acknowledge about yourself, about your situation? What is it that you are in complete disagreement to, right? Just because you're in disagreement to it doesn't mean you shouldn't just listen, because through it I'm getting a sense that there is something inside that will begin to happen with your imagination, like in terms of like, okay, how does this, how can I say this? It's when we are utilizing our imagination to then help it match our outside environment, right? But it does start with you listening. Now, whether, depending on your situation, of course, but it could be, like I said, listening to spirit, listening to something that you've sort of refused to listen to, perhaps with your journey, whatever situation, that is beside the point. But there's a lot of inspiration in that. There's a lot of inspiration in that. Let's get one more card. Let's get one more card. Wisdom. Oh, let me get a few flew out. We're gonna put those back in. Yeah, I placed them back in just so that I want to make sure that I'm channeling in the right messages for those that are meant to watch this video, right? But okay. Oh, lovely. And look at that. We got the full moon card. Full moon. And it says, surrender to the divine. Surrender to the divine. So yeah, that's very interesting, because yeah, just like I said earlier, just earlier today, I was thinking, have you utilized the messages that we have given you? Have you utilized them? Perhaps you saw something, you heard something, and you disagreed with it, or there's something about the message that spirit gave you and it sort of triggered you in a way that was like, no, this, like, I want to do this. Like, it's very stubborn. Like, there's a feeling of just resistance. the feeling of resistance. And now there's like this message of surrender and trust us. Surrender to the divine. And let us give you this source of inspiration, this unlimited source of inspiration, and so that we can begin to give you what it is that, or it's not just give you, but I'm getting this sense and this feeling that it's changing your inside environment so that you can make the proper changes for your outer environment. But once again, that comes with facing. That comes with facing. So if you're being called to do like shadow work or anything of that nature, or just awakening, right? I say definitely take a hold of it. And if you're into like numerology, once again, look into the number 2, and look into the number 1, and we have number 5. If you feel called to look up any of those numbers, right? If it's pulling some kind of meaning for you. But all right, so that is the message that Spirit wants us to hold within us as we go about this full moon in Sagittarius, right? Look at our convictions, look at what you are wanting to bring into abundance. And when you want to bring something into abundance, then the question is, what do you need to clear out? You know, and that's not always an easy thing to face, you know, the things you need to clear out. But there's a source of inspiration and a change of inner workings at work here that is gonna, it's ultimately for your best and highest good. It really, really is. So let's stop refusing. Let's start to listen. And let's start to dig deep into our trust with ourselves, that we will not abandon ourselves, that we will trust ourselves, that we are going to take care of ourselves, that we can hold ourselves in a space that we know that we truly deserve, right? Yeah. Oh, that's a beautiful message. Thank you. I love that. I needed that message, I feel, for myself. I love that. But alrighty, my beautiful beings, I want to thank you for taking this time to just listen to this message and listen to me. I thank your guides and my guides, and I thank the moon, as today she is full, and you know, they are wanting us to hear their message. The moon is wanting us to hear their message. So I want to give thanks again, and I also want to give you a reminder that the shop is now up, running, active, with some new goodies from different suppliers and artists, from just adorning your home, your body, your practice. I mean, you can go to my shop and just see what is there and what is available. All right, my beautiful beings. And if you would like a personal reading, you can of course go to my website again, and you can book a reading with me, so that way we can get more deep and personal with wisdom and knowledge and information that Spirit needs you to hear specifically, right? But all right, then I'm gonna let you go, and I did not want this to be a long video because I want you to take the time to do what it is that your Spirit is calling you to do for this full moon. All right, my beautiful beings. So peace, love, and truth. Bye.